Next topic, which is another topic, is long distance transport of water.
Okay.
So, how do you think that diffusion is the only means of transporting water in plants?
No.
Only means of water transport in plants?
No. Is there any other process?
Do you know for how much time, how much distance can it cover through diffusion?
No.
So, through diffusion, if water has to enter a plant, it needs 2.5 seconds to reach 50 micrometer.
Micrometer?
Yes.
Okay.
50 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter. Okay, 50. So can you say that how much could it travel for 1 meter? How much time it will take for 1 meter?
Can you say?
So it takes a very long seconds, like years it can take, up to years to travel 1 meter.
Okay.
Okay. So that is necessary for some other mechanisms or other means by which water should enter a plant. It should travel long distances. By diffusion, you cannot say the coconut tree is getting water from there through diffusion. 1 meter itself, it is taking years.
Yeah.
How can that long coconut tree will suck water?
Yeah.
So there is other means of other kinds of travel of water. So long distance transport is not by diffusion. Okay, it is confirmed. But it is a very slow process. From a cell to cell it can diffuse, but long distances it cannot do.
But if a small plant, now only the seed has started to grow, that time it can.
That time sometimes it is, sometimes the diffusion also will occur slowly. It will also suck water.
Okay. Alternatively, diffusion also will happen, another process will come.
So, in large and complex organisms like large trees like eucalyptus, coconut tree, banyan tree and everything, substances have to travel long distances, very long distances, which take them 10 years or more by diffusion. So, it needs other means. Generally, water, minerals and food, okay, which are generally transported in plants, are moved by mass or bulk flow mechanism. Okay. So, mass or bulk flow mechanism is nothing but water movement through pressure differences. Okay, it may be positive or negative hydrostatic pressure gradient. Okay. Positive hydrostatic pressure gradient is nothing but a garden hose. Okay, how a garden hose works. So that is an example of positive hydrostatic pressure gradient. For negative hydrostatic pressure gradient, suction through straw. If you suck the water, if the plants are able to suck the water, it is known as negative hydrostatic pressure gradient. If the water itself gives a pressure, it is known as positive hydrostatic pressure gradient. Okay. So this mass or bulk flow hypothesis, which occurs in this generally occurs in plants, which occurs in vascular tissues of plants. Vascular tissues are nothing but xylem and phloem. So xylem, as everybody knows, xylem carries water, minerals and other substances, where phloem carries inorganic and organic food materials. Okay. So these two, both xylem and phloem, are known as vascular tissue in plants. So when this mass or bulk flow is performed in vascular tissues of plants, it is known as translocation. Okay. Translocation is very important.
If it is a positive hydrostatic pressure, then the plant doesn't need to put any energy to take up the water.
Positive
Because the water is some pressure.
Yeah. No energy does not take place in positive and negative. Both it does not.
Negative also no energy.
No negative. We will be seeing it later. Okay. That full what energy is needed for positive or it is for negative or for both or not needed. We will be seeing it later. Okay. So we will discuss some more subtopic under long distance transport of water, which is how do plants absorb water. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about how do plants absorb water.
Okay.
So how do plants absorb water? Okay, it travels through bulk flow or mass flow, that we are clear. But how it travels around root hairs to the inside tissues of the root. Okay. So here root hairs is the main part of the root which absorbs water and minerals. Absorption of water and minerals takes place only at root hairs. Okay. So these root hairs are present million in number in roots. Okay. So these are tiny hair-like substances which are unicellular in roots. So here water is absorbed along with mineral solutes. Okay. So along with the mineral solutes present in the underground water, or this water, mineral solutes present in the underground, this water is also entered along with these minerals. Okay. And this movement is purely by diffusion from root hairs to the inside tissues of the middle root. Okay. It is through diffusion. So to enter more deeper into root layers, from root hairs it is through diffusion. So it enters through two pathways. First one is apoplast pathway and second one is symplast pathway. Okay. So apoplast pathway is nothing but it is just the movement of water through in between the cell walls of two cells. Okay, in between the two cells.
Through the cells.
Not in between the cells. Okay. And adjacent cell walls are continuous through the plant except at the Casparian strips. Casparian strips are present at the endodermis. Okay. So these are present at the endodermis which are made up of suberin, and these are known as Casparian strips. Okay. So how can water transport into Casparian strips? So apoplast does not enter through Casparian strips of the endodermis in roots. Okay. So here, can you understand what is apoplast pathway? It is between the cells. And the next pathway is symplast pathway, where it is interconnected protoplast from one protoplast to the other, and it is interconnected. Okay. So here through cytoplasmic strands which extends through plasmodesmata. Okay. Here cytoplasmic strands connects the two protoplasts.
Okay.
And cytoplasmic strands are arranged and it is connected connecting the protoplast of two cells. Okay.
Connecting the protoplast of two cells
through plasmodesmata.
Through plasmodesmata.
Yes. Through this plasmodesmata only symplast pathway takes place. And here it is interconnected. It moves through the cell. Okay. So this is one is symplast pathway. So next we will see how the water is moved into endodermis.
Endodermis.
Casparian strips it has. Right? How we can water move through it will be seen next. So now we are going to see how water enters through Casparian strips, that is endodermis, and what are the other organisms which provide water for these roots. Okay. Is there another mechanism to obtain water? Okay.
To transport of water.
Yes. So here most of the movement of water in plants is through apoplast. Apoplast we have seen that it is in between the cells. Okay, it is most of the water travels through apoplast only, because cortical cells in the roots we have already seen in anatomy of flowering plants, which comes next to the epidermis layers. So these cortical cells are loosely packed. Yes. So therefore there will be the amount of space by which the water travels through apoplast between the cells. Okay. So here most of the layers are traveled through apoplast. So symplast occurs in endodermis alone. Okay, which have Casparian strips in them. So symplast is moved through it is connecting to the protoplast and it moves through them. So here since the endodermis has Casparian strips, here alone the symplast pathway takes place. So Casparian strips are nothing but they have strips around the cells. So water cannot move. They have strips around these, so water cannot move. But water can move inside the cells, right?
Yeah.
So therefore symplast pathway occurs only in endodermis. And after it crosses the endodermis, again it moves to apoplast pathway. Okay? Can you understand? Actually, so these are Casparian strips. So here apoplast cannot take place. The only means is symplast, which is going through the protoplast. Okay. So here alone the symplast pathway take place. Okay. So now we are going to see some additional structures in these plants which help them absorb water. So some plants have additional structures in them which help them to absorb water. Okay. So here example is mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is nothing but the symbiotic association of fungus with the root system. Fungus association with the root system is known as mycorrhiza. Okay. So these fungal filaments, okay, the filaments which are present in the fungi, form network around the young roots. They form network around the young roots, or they penetrate the root cells.
Penetrate the root cells. Okay.
Okay. So these fungi provide minerals and water to roots. These fungi provide minerals and water to roots. So the filament in these fungi can absorb an enormous amount of water that even the roots cannot do. From most of the soil it absorbs water, these filaments. So it provides much of the water and minerals needed to the roots. Okay. So it is symbiotic association. So roots should also provide something to fungi. Fungi is giving something, so root should also provide something. So root provides sugar and nitrogen containing compounds to fungi. Okay, so fungi gives minerals and water to roots. Root provides sugars and nitrogen containing compounds to these fungi. Okay,
Starch.
yeah. Sugars or starch which are moved through leaves to roots. It gives that food, and nitrogen containing compounds. So if you see in some plants like pinus seeds is from pinus plants, these seeds cannot germinate without mycorrhiza. In order to germinate itself, these seeds need fungi
Called
association.
Okay.
Fungal association with them. Without that they cannot grow and germinate. Without that they cannot germinate.
So the fungi takes the food and give a part of that food to the plants.
Why would you take food? It gives only minerals and water to roots.
Okay.
So these seeds cannot germinate with mycorrhiza. Okay. So this is about absorption of water in plants. Okay, how it enters by root hairs into the tissues, into the root, the xylem and flowing away. So now we are going to see about water movement up a plant. So we saw from root hairs to the center tissues of root. We are going to see now how water is moved up to the root,
You said that in last subtopic we see it.
So now we are going to see the second topic under long distance transport in plants. So first topic we saw that how water is moved from root hair to the inner tissues of root. Now we are going to see how the water is moved up a plant. Okay.
From down to
So here there are two ways. Two ways. Okay. One is root pressure and the other is transpiration. So first we are going to see how root pressure. So here root pressure. Okay. We are going to see about this. So in soil there are various ions, minerals, all with water. So these ions are actively transported into the vascular tissues of roots. Active transport, we have seen that. Active transport is the transport using energy. It is uphill. Okay, from lower concentration to higher concentration. It is using energy, and it needs the proteins. So the ions which are the minerals are transported into the vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are nothing but the xylem. Okay. Xylem of roots. Okay, so it is transported actively with the use of energy into the
using proteins.
Yeah. Okay. So various ions, we cannot say all the ions. Various ions means some of the ions. Okay. So here water follows and increases pressure inside the xylem. Along with these ions, water also follows these ions. Water also comes along with these ions, and it increases the pressure down inside the xylem. And it increases the pressure down inside the xylem. Okay. So here this root pressure is positive pressure. Okay. So this positive pressure is pushing up water to small heights, very small heights. So for example, when you cut very small height, if, from the root to very small height. So if you cut a stem very near to the ground, if you cut a small herbaceous greeny stem, small greeny stem near to the ground, if you cut in a vertical way, horizontal way if you cut, the vertical section of the stem after some time will be losing some water, will be coming out. So that is through root pressure. Okay, that is through root pressure, and the water and the molecules and the solute particle water with the solute which comes out that through the stem is known as exudation.
Exudation.
Yes. Okay, so the composition in that exudation, what are the minerals are present, the composition in the exudation is known as exudates.
Exudates.
Yes, the solutes in the water is known as exudates. So that is exudation, that is an experimental view of that root pressure. So when this water loss in liquid phase along veins, if you see in morning or at night time, the leaves will be having some water droplets in them. Okay, in morning that is also known as dew drops. At the morning, early morning, you see in the leaves big dew drops. Right? So that is known as guttation. Guttation is nothing but water loss by the veins in liquid phase. This is known as guttation. Transpiration is nothing but in evaporation, but here it is in liquid phase. So this one is known as guttation. Okay. So root pressure, it is not for the movement of water up in very tall trees. It only permits only small height along the stem, but not up to tall trees. Okay. So for tall trees, it is achieved by transpirational pull.
Transpiration.
We'll be seeing about this in the next. We're going to see about transpirational pull after root pressure. So here in transpirational pull, water can move up to 15 meters in an hour. In 1 hour. So here, what is here transpiration pull? So transpiration occurs in leaves. Water is pulled or pushed here. Is water pulled or it is pushed? It is pulled. Yeah, we cannot say correctly. We'll be seeing later whether it is pushed or pulled.
So we are seeing generally.
Yeah,
in detail we'll see it.
We cannot say it is totally pulled, it is totally pushed. We cannot say like that. There are some forces acting in it. Okay. So here this is a driving force. Okay, it drives water from down to up of the stems. It is a driving force. This driving force occurs due to transpiration from leaves. Okay. So this transpiration pull is known as cohesion, tension, transpiration pull model.
Cohesion, tension, transpiration.
Cohesion, tension.
Cohesion, tension.
So this cohesion, tension are main movements in water which results in transpiration. Okay. So here after transpiration you will be seeing the water lost by leaves, right? So less than 1% of the water reaching the leaves, less than 1%, even not 1%, this is less than 1% of water reaching the leaves is used in photosynthesis and plant growth. It is very less in photosynthesis and plant growth. So this water is lost through stomata, mostly through stomata, and water lost from leaf. So how can you see that water is evaporating from leaves? How can you cannot see the evaporation? How can you determine that one? So for example, if you take various experiments like using COCl paper, okay, using cobalt chloride paper.
Cobalt chloride, yes.
What is it used? Cobalt chloride paper, using cobalt chloride paper. Wait, I'm saying, I'm not read it. Using cobalt chloride paper, if you keep that on the leaves for some time, after some time it changes, it turns its colors. It turns its color after absorbing water. Okay, so with this experiment we can easily see that water is released. We can easily obtain that water is released from the leaves. Or another experiment is also there where you cover a leaf by polythene bag. Okay. So the water droplets are evaporated and reaches the upper surface of the bag inside.
It's like after cooking, because of the heat, the water will be transferred to the lid. If you take up the lid, the lid is like that. We are covering the paper on the leaf.
We are just keeping the paper and we are covering polythene bag. Okay. So these are the this is known as why it is transpiration, why transpiration occurs we have studied now, and is it pulled or pushed, we are not clear about that, but it is some cohesion tension forces acting on the cohesion tension forces acting in this transpiration flow model, and it is a driving force actually, it drives, okay, it is a driving force. So we'll be seeing first we'll see what is transpiration in the next topic, okay? Then we'll get some conclusion about this one. Transpiration. Okay, so first in the next topic we will see about transpiration.